Hi, I'm Shelley Levette with childcareland.com, and today I want to share with you kite sponge painting. You'll need to have sponges that were cut into diamond shapes. They don't have to be perfect shapes, so if you want, you can certainly draw an outline on the sponge before cutting them out. These are just free-handed. You want to wet the sponges first. Make sure you start with new sponges that have not been used. Dampen them a little bit, squeeze them out so they're a damp feeling, and then you cut them into a diamond shape. You also need to have paint, yarn for your kite tails, the glue, and I've glued a piece of white cardstock paper onto a piece of colored cardstock paper to make it a little bit more thicker and durable, but you can certainly use whatever matte material you would like to use. And so you would have some paint set out and these sponges, and children would take their sponges, dip them in the paint, and press them onto the mat to make kite shapes. And then when they're done with that, they're going to cut some yarn out and glue them onto the bottom of the painted kite shapes on here. But children love to sponge paint. So again, you would just dip it in the paint and then they would press it down where they want. They don't want too much paint on there. And then you lift it up and it makes a really cool kite shape. The sponges themselves can be kind of difficult to cut, excuse me. But with practice, it does get easier for the diamond shapes. And again, like I said, they don't have to be perfect shapes because the kites are all different kinds of shapes. We'll just do 3 so you can kind of get the idea. Dipping it in. There we go. And we'll put that one up there. And then they can put as many kites on as they want. Another thing they could do is maybe take some green paint with their finger or construction paper and put green down here, and then maybe decorate the top and put a sun up here just by dipping their finger in yellow paint if they want, and just making a yellow circle up here. So they can decorate this any way they want, put as many kites on as they want. My sun's a little bit lopsided here, we'll fix that. All right, and then you should let that dry before you put any kind of decorations on or the kite tails on. So we would set that aside normally and then let it dry. And then once it's dry, the children can take some yarn, or depending on the age, you could have the yarn already cut out for them too. And then they would cut off some tails to put onto their kites. So they would drag down maybe about 2.5 to 3 inches is a good size. If they want to do it longer, they're perfectly welcome to, but I think this is a good size. So we're going to cut off 3. And then they would take some glue and then put a little dot of glue onto the bottom of each kite. And then they would press the tail onto that. But these turn out really cute, and they look cute hanging up on our board or on the wall. Another thing you could do is, while these are still wet, you could sprinkle the kites with glitter, or when they're dry, you could put glue dots on these and add sequins so they would sparkle a little bit. There's lots of different ways you could decorate the kites. But again, it's a fun, easy project for a kite theme, and the children love to do it. For kite sponge painting, I'm Shelley Levette with childcareland.com, and thanks for watching.